Well, now, just before we sing our last hymn, a couple of things about this building. We're going to have bits and pieces of information over the next 5 weeks. The hard thing is, some of us have been here since 2017 when it first began to be discussed, and then some of us are new, so I don't want to bore the people who've heard stuff in the past or just assume too much. But when you leave today, you'll be offered a terrific leaflet. It's excellent because I have very little to do with it, which will really help you get some of the key facts in place to work out what you want to do. Because we're trying to work out, we've decided to do it. We had a vote on it some years ago. We've had any number of meetings giving people chances to hear and to ask questions. People have shown their commitment to it by giving a fairly significant amount of money up front. But we're aware that others will still need to think, okay, what's my part in this building? So let's... I put the border there red because when the first came up about the possibility of being involved in a building, I was cranky on the inside. I didn't shout and scream and cry, but I thought, oh, you're kidding, aren't you? I hate being parts of buildings. I mean, which is silly because I enjoy having them, but they're difficult when you're building them up. So, but as the guys began to work on the building, I've now got Van Gogh's happy colour there, yellow, because I think it's a terrific building. I would actually be disappointed now if something happened that we couldn't do it, although there was a period where I would have been quite happy if the ACT government said no, but they didn't. I think this will be a wonderful building. The guys who are in charge of, or the team looking after the building business, have got us a builder who is remarkably quick, and he will do that. And I'm just chatting with a friend who's used them for something else, and they've done a great job. But they're fast-ish, which will be great for us. And but let me tell you about some of the benefits of this building. Some of this is in the paper that you'll be offered as you go. There's this nice drawing. So roughly, this is where the present building finishes. There's more foyer space. You think, oh, really, that's exciting. I tell you what, an awful lot of important Christian ministry happens in the foyer as people are just about to leave. And ours is pretty congested. And some of the best churches I've been blessed to be part of and to serve in have huge foyers. It sounds like a waste of space, but it's not. There'll be more, not as much as we'd like there. And there's all sorts of extra small rooms that can be used by the staff and others instead of having 4 or 5 in the one room, which is the present situation. So we want it to be more productive. But then there's multi-purpose spaces. So there's a creche in here, purpose-built, but can be used for other things. As some of you know, the creche, the building that was across there till 2 weeks ago, it was kind of the trigger. We either had to pour money into fixing it up or replace it, or maybe it was time to do stage 3. And after lots of work, it was decided, let's bite the bullet and build what is normally, in most churches around Australia, a church hall, which we didn't have. So there'll be a number of terrific areas for the children. There'll be a bit of this on the video next week. There'll be a largish area as well. So we'll have 2 largish areas so we can have 2 sort of appropriate things going on at once. Any number of smaller meeting rooms. You can see them behind where Tom is. There's some of the plans of the building which have been there for some time. What you don't notice just in the ordinary run of coming to church is the number of times when people will ask, can we hold a meeting to do this, an important meeting, a meeting we have to say no, there's just not space. Because if you've got a band practicing here and they need to practice and other things happening, we don't have that sort of small, there'll be a lot more room so a lot more ministries can happen at the same time. We'll hear more about that briefly next week. But so this is there's more toilets and a few other things, much better wheelchair access. So it is a very carefully and well worked out building. And I think it will help us love people better. It'll help us be able to grow deeper in Christ and serve our neighbours. I think it'll become a tremendous sight for years to come. As long as Jesus doesn't come back next year, which would be a bit of it. No, it wouldn't be a shame, would it? It would have been a growth experience for us. But you'll see that and then there's 3 other panels which will take you through some of the obvious questions to ask about what we're doing here. So there'll be much more coming over the next few weeks. But our hope is this will just remind those and show them some of the way things have been tweaked. And for those who are perhaps newish, that this is, you think of St. Matt's now as your church, but you'd like to understand what we've been playing with since 2017. It will create great spaces for us to use. All right, now, I think I'll stop there. I think that's enough on that for now. But do make sure you get one of the leaflets as you go. All right. Let's sing our last wonderful